Hello, friends. Welcome back to Yoga with Paige, and welcome to our 20-minute energizing morning yoga flow. We begin today lying on the back, in corpse pose, just resting, releasing tension wherever we find it, and tapping into our breath. Taking deep belly breaths, filling the body with air, and then exhaling it all out. Inhale, reach the arms above the head, and exhale, take the hands and the feet over to the right side, making a nice big C shape with the body. One breath here, and then gently release to center, and on your next exhale, take everything to the other side. Getting a nice full side body stretch. And coming back through center, tucking the knees into the chest. And finding small hip circles. Drawing big circles with the knees. We can have the hands on top of the knees or floating by the sides, whatever feels good to you. Opening the hips, making sure we reverse the circles. Pressing the lower back into the mat. Grounding here before we begin to move the energy around. Releasing the legs straight up into the air for dead bug pose, sending the arms up as well. Keeping the knees a little bit bent, just letting all of the blood flow from the feet back up to the heart. You can wiggle the toes, the fingers. Maybe we play around with flexing or pointing the toes, rolling the ankles around, finding whatever feels good to you here. Still breathing nice and deep. We're here for a few rounds of breath. Really reversing the blood flow, getting ready to energize ourselves for the day. Beautiful. One more breath. And then gently release the left leg down onto the mat. Keeping the right leg up high, trying to find the shin or the big toe, and pulling the leg into the chest. Opening up through the hamstrings, the calves. Still active in the left leg, sending it down into the mat. One big inhale. Fill up the lungs. And on your next exhale, gently start opening the leg to the side. Still rooting down through the mat. Just gently opening through the hips and the groins. On your next inhale, gently lift the leg back up, placing the left foot on the mat, crossing the ankle over the knee for a reclined pigeon pose. Then tucking both legs into the chest, making sure to flex the feet, enjoying this deep glute stretch. Massaging the lower back as we press it down into the mat. Deep breaths, just enjoying the sensation. Releasing the legs back up to dead bug pose. One breath here, and then release the right leg down, pulling the left into the chest. We can have the knee bent a little bit if we need to, depending on how warmed up we are at this point in our day. Not judging wherever we're at. Not forcing anything. Just gently opening. One more big inhale. And exhale, slowly let the leg fall to the side to wherever it feels most comfortable. It may not be super far, as this is the beginning of our practice. So we just find what feels good in this moment. Taking the leg back up to center, finding our reverse pigeon pose, hugging the legs into the chest, and breathing deeply. A few more rounds of breath here, releasing a little bit more on every exhale. Gently uncrossing the legs and coming into fish pose, sitting up on the elbows, tucking the hands right underneath the lower part of the back and the upper part of the bum. Slowly and gently starting to drop the head back, opening up through the shoulders and the chest, lifting the heart to the sky, breathing nice and even. Just relaxing, letting the blood flow to the head and opening up through the throat chakra as well. One more deep, relaxing breath, and then slowly and gently make your way up to staff pose, sending energy out through the heels, lifting up through the crown of the head, nice, long, beautiful lines, rolling the shoulders back. And then gently taking the right leg, putting it into the left thigh, squaring our hips before slowly folding forward on the exhale. Remembering to keep a nice long spine, lifting up on the inhale and folding on the exhale. Maybe moving with your breath here, making this more dynamic, or slowly just feeling yourself release deeper with every breath. One more breath. And gently lift the head and the chest, crossing that right knee over the left leg, finding a gentle twist. Wringing out the spine, massaging the internal abdominal organs. Breathing easy. Exhale to come back through center, taking a moment in staff pose to recenter before taking the left foot into the other thigh. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to fold. Taking this stretch wherever feels good to you, honoring your own body and your own practice. Beautiful. Keep breathing and releasing. On your next inhale, we gently lift up the chest and come into boat pose, finding balance on the sit bones, extending the shins out, pointing the toes, lifting up the chest, sucking the navel into the spine, trying to reach the chest towards the thighs. For an extra challenge, we can start fluttering the arms by our sides as this takes more control to still balance, breathing, stabilizing, gaining strength. We're building up heat in the body early this morning. You got this. One more breath. And then we can gently release the legs down into bound angle, soles of the feet together, reaching for the big toes, sending the knees down, opening up through the groins. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, fold forward. Keeping integrity in the spine. This isn't about how far we can go, just about opening through the groins. Releasing back, crossing at the ankles to come into tabletop pose. Once we find our positioning here, neutral spine, we take cat-cow, moving with the breath, rounding the back, pressing away from the mat. Exhale. Inhale, lower the belly, lift the chest and the gaze. Going as fast or as slow as you'd like. Just taking care, taking our awareness to the spine. Feeling this gentle movement as we move around the spinal fluid. Meeting back in neutral spine, reaching the right arm and left leg out. Exhale, crunch, knee to nose. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. About 5 times each. Moving at your own pace. Beautiful. And on your last one, we're going to extend the left leg behind, reaching the heel back, opening up through the calf, gazing between the fingers. And lifting that leg up, kicking the toes towards the sky, tiger pose. Once we find our balance, we can reach the right arm back for the ankle, using the opposition to open up the hips even more. Taking the foot up as high as we can, one breath, and exhale to release back to tabletop. Taking a cat-cow here to realign our spine before doing the other side. Meeting back in tabletop. The left arm goes out, right leg back. We inhale to elongate and exhale to crunch. Working through the abdominals, building up heat, preparing for more movement. Last one. Releasing the foot to the ground, sending the heel back. Nice long line in the back of the leg. And on your next exhale, gently coming into tiger pose, sending the toes up, up, up. Finding a slight back bend here, and then reaching for the foot. Maybe taking our gaze back, whatever helps you balance. And exhale to gently release, coming back to all fours before tucking the toes, making our way to downward facing dog. Sending the feet as wide as the mat, rooting down through the bottoms of the feet and the left hand as we take the right hand and cross it over, trying to grab the left ankle, looking underneath your shoulder, nice and strong here. Beautiful. Exhale to release and gently switch. Maybe we can't reach all the way, and that's fine. We're gripping through the fingers, we're gaining strength, and we're moving. That's all that matters. Coming back to downward facing dog, gazing at the hands to prepare for spinal rolls. Finding our static downward facing dog, and inhale to lift the heels, roll to high plank. Taking a slow and controlled vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. And meeting in downward facing dog. Grounding through the left foot, raising the right, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knees, stack the hips. Opening up, gazing under the shoulder. One breath. Three-legged dog. Take the knee in through the chest and come into our warrior one. Nice and strong. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach forward and back, peaceful warrior. Exhale, coming into humble warrior, hands clasped behind the back. Chest is down towards the mat. Gently releasing the hands, pivoting on the back foot, high lunge. Exhale, rain the fingertips down, framing the foot, sweeping it back, taking a vinyasa, seeing if we can keep that right leg lifted the whole time. Playing with our strength here. Coming back to downward facing dog to raise the left leg high. Then bend the knees, stack the hips. Send the foot to the other side of the room. One more deep breath here. And then your next exhale, we straighten back to three-legged dog. Take the knee in through the chest. Warrior one, nice and strong. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, open to warrior two. Peaceful warrior. And exhale, windmill to humble, reaching the hands over the head. And gently lifting the chest, inhale, pivoting, high lunge. Rain the fingertips down, taking our vinyasa with our extra challenge or traditionally. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Gently coming down onto the knees, taking the big toes together and widening the knees to the outsides of the mat, sinking into wide child's pose, reaching the hands forward. Forehead comes to mat, we melt the heart down, taking a moment here to check in. Notice how you're feeling and how you're doing this morning. One more deep breath. Exhale to release. We have an option here to take the hands together and reach them behind the head, reaching the elbows forward, stretching out the triceps. On your next exhale, we can gently plant the hands, lift the chest, and raise up, walking the fingertips back, coming up onto the toes. We have a lion's pose here, or we can come into malasana, which I will show you next. Lion's pose, we're up balancing on the toes, trying to get the soles of the feet together and the knees as wide as we can. Finding our balance here, lifting up the chest. Taking one deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the nose. Staying here, it's okay if we fall out at any time. We can always come into malasana as I show you here. Feet on the mat, using the elbows to help you open up the knees, feeling the groin stretch as we send the pelvis down towards the mat. Whichever posture suits your practice today. Maybe we try something new, or maybe we stay with the tried and true. Let me know which one you choose down below. Feeling nice and open and balanced, we can release our hands to the mat, send the hips up, straighten the legs, and find a nice dangling pose at the back of the mat. This is where we will end our practice today. So take care to gently wring out the neck, maybe find little hip sways or whatever else your body is calling for to get you ready for this day ahead. Releasing tension in the neck and in the shoulders. Just relaxing. And whenever we're ready, we can find a gentle seat on the mat as we breathe in this new day And we find gratitude for all of the possibilities. Hands come to heart center, and I thank you for joining me in this practice today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.